Hello guys and welcome to The Apprentice, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new series. And I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever watched the show, so bear with me if I don't really understand how it works some of the time, but I feel like I've gotten a good gist after just one episode. Kind of upset that it's one episode a week, because by the end of the first episode I was like, oh my god, next episode, please, I need to know. But on the whole, I thought it was actually a really entertaining show, and although it may be suffering slightly in the ratings compared to last series, I still think that it's got a lot of life left in it. So I figured I would break it down, have a look at who's doing well, which candidates are bombing the challenges and doing horrendously, and also just talking about the challenges a little bit, having a good vibe, and giving myself some content to talk about, because there's nothing that's airing at the moment until Big Brother starts. Celebrity Big Brother starts in March. So if you guys are enjoying, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And the subscribe button's most important at the moment. We're trying to get to 500. We have been on an absolute heater recently. Loads of people subscribing, loads of people jumping on the ranting wagon. So if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to subscribe, show me the love, and yeah, thank you guys very much. Let's get straight into the video, I guess. So, we were introduced to the candidates kind of one by one as they were doing little voiceovers and being like, I'm the best person here, I'm going to destroy everyone, oh my god, I'm the best person in business. Yeah, it was quite tough to watch. These guys have not been painted in the nicest light, and I feel like that everybody comes in with such sort of like, I'm the best business person there's ever been. Oh my goodness, I'm the best. And then they turn out to be actually horrific, and yeah, it's just disappointing to watch. But also absolutely hysterical, because I love delusional people. I love watching delusional people, and this show is delusional people central. So yeah, everyone kind of came off as dickheads at the start. Not everyone, but like the majority of the people. No one was really sort of humble and being like, I'm hoping to do well. Which I guess is kind of like not really the point. They kind of want you to be like, oh, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Anyway, so there is going to be an investment of 250,000 at the end of the series. If you've watched it before, you know how it works. It's pretty much bog standard. But interestingly, Alan Sugar is a lot more entertaining than I thought he was. I've always watched him and he's always been quite dry and serious, but like he was cracking jokes left, right, and centre. Were some of them painful at times? Yeah, sometimes they were a little bit. For example, we were talking to Asif, who is a doctor. He wants to go into vitamins and supplements. There were a couple of jokes made about him. We were talking to Sam, who calls herself the dull boy of business or something like that. And she's an online fitness coach for like mums or mums to be. Then we've got two pools. One's a pie maker, one's a dentist. And then we've got another pie maker called Phil. I was almost called him Pill then. But yeah, Phil. And then we've got Amina, who is a pharmacist and apparently has made a lot of money. And Lord Sugar was like, well, why are you here then? You don't need my money. And she was like, ah. Yeah. So after this first episode, I feel like we've gotten to know some of the candidates really well. Some of them I forgot existed. They didn't really factor into this episode at all. But on the whole, everyone seems to be kind of decent. There are some people who are very strong and who I feel like have the momentum to get to the end, and there are some that I can see dropping in the first few weeks. So it's going to be really telling and really interesting to see who falls at what hurdle, because this was quite a big hurdle at the start and a couple of people stumbled. And one person obviously got left behind. So, the challenge for this episode was a corporate away day. They had to host an activity, like off campus. They had to host an activity on campus. And then they had to provide food and drink for the corporate away day, I guess. So they were split into two teams, boys versus girls. Verdi took the boys and led the boys. And Onyeka took the girls and led the girls. Now, I'm kind of broken down my notes. If you can see here, I've written so many notes. I've broken them down into girls and boys. So I'm just gonna talk through the girls and boys on their first day. So there were 2 days. First day was sort of like the prep and the sort of money side of things, how much will things cost, etc., etc., etc. And then the second day was actually delivering the corporate corporate work do, I guess. Starting off with the girls, Onyeka was not the strongest leader. She kind of just kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but she would say something, other people would say no, and then she'd kind of roll over because she can't swim, and so she didn't want to go with the lock tour. But everyone was like, well, if we're in Scotland, it's got to be a lock tour because that's just Scotland. Do you know what I mean? That's what Scotland's iconic for. So she kind of rolled over and went with the lock tour. Then they were talking about the second part of the challenge, which was, so they have to do one off campus, which was the lock, and then the second part they were going to do the Highland Games, and they were like, oh, can we just host it ourselves? And they were like, to save money. And I was sitting there like, okay, but have you guys got any experience in doing that? Because it's all well and good saying, yeah, we can do that. But can you actually do that? Because if you can't deliver what they're paying for, they're going to want refunds. So it's better to shell out a little bit of money in order to stop the refunds from coming back in. So they were also talking about making it alcohol free, which I think is a really odd thing for a corporate away day, but I will circle back to that alcohol free statement in a second, because when they went to go talk to the corporate company, the company that wanted the away day, they were like, oh yeah, we're not expecting alcohol. So it was good that they sort of set that precedence of no alcohol from the get-go, so they didn't waste money on the alcohol, which is really, really good. As for the other side, so they were split into two teams. One was the activities, one was food and drink. Sam took over food and drink. Sam went with her group to go taste some food and look at sort of the low end, the high end, the max, like the mid-range, I guess. And Onyeka had been very, very clear that she wanted all the food to cost £10 per person, or she said maximum 25. They ended up settling on £36.50 per person, which works out at £365, I guess, for the whole team of 10, which in my head is not a lot of money. You're making, they managed to negotiate a price of 2,860, which, and this is where my maths brain really likes working out the numbers, which means that you're looking at a decent sized profit if you manage to keep everything under costs. They're paying 2,860. Your food is 365. The lock tour was like 500, I think, and then your like second part, which was the Highland Games, only came to 280, which was a bit ridiculous because all they were providing was the rocks and sticks, like the caber toss and the rock throwing, and the professional wasn't even going to be there for that price, which is crazy. So they actually didn't spend that much money in order to make a very, very good day. So I gotta say, the girls' team seemed like they had everything locked down and good. Let's get on to the boys now. So Verdi was obviously in charge of the boys, and he was running a dictatorship. He was like, you do this, you're doing this, I'm doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. Split the teams up, right? He's on the corporate side. He's going to go talk to the company and arrange all the activities. The other side is doing food and drink. It was tough. It was really, really tough to watch because the food and drink guys went to go taste the food. I think they managed to get a they managed to talk to the guy and get the toad in the hole, and the guy wanted £60 per head for some toad in the hole. £60 per head. That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Toad in the hole is probably the easiest thing you can make. not the easiest, but one of the easiest. It's sausages in batter with some mash and gravy. I could make that for free. In fact, I could make that for less than a fiver for an entire group of people. Let's say for 10 people, I could probably make it, maybe let's say £10, less than £10. But £60 per head. So he wanted £600 just for them to make Toad in the Hole. That's crazy. They managed to get it down to £40 a head, which was still absolutely crazy to me. Criminal, if you ask me. But they also made the mistake of not getting any alcohol. Even though, and this is something that they had discussed, or it had been clear, nobody likes a dry corporate away day. Everybody wants a drink after you've been out and about. And it was tough to watch as they looked at the list and went, £9 for Prosecco. £9 a glass. No. When you're buying Prosecco, when has it ever been £9 a glass when you're not selling it on? If you're selling it on, if you're a restaurant and you're selling it on for £9, fair enough. But if you are going to a retailer and you're buying a per glass £9, how are you meant to make any profit off of that? No, £9 is the bottle price, and this is exactly why some of these people are just thick as dog shit. Because as soon as I saw that £9, I was like, oh, that's per bottle. Because that's how much I pay for Prosecco when I buy it. So, in what world did you think it was going to be £9 a glass? They could have got 2 bottles of that, 18 quid. That would have served 10. Easy. Wonderful. Lovely. Yeah, that was really tough to watch. And then when the other group were like, right, what did you get? They were like, well, we didn't get any alcohol. Well, they're expecting alcohol, so you're gonna have to think of getting some. And then they were like, oh, well, we've made our welcome drink a bottle of water. Sorry. Sorry. Water. Not water white. Water. Bottle of water. That is your welcome drink. That is what you think your clients are going to want. A bottle of water when they come back. Oh, fucking whoop-de-doo. That should be for free. They should be getting water as a basic human right, not as a welcome drink after a corporate away day for their meal. They even were like, oh, we're going to get 10 orange juice and 10 lemonade. Lemonade would have been a better welcome drink. Why is the welcome drink a bottle of water? What is going on in your brains? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was tough to watch. And then the other team, they came in hard and they were like, we want £450 a head. And the girls who were like part of the company just laughed at each other and went, yeah, no, £200 a head. That's all we got. And then they were like, okay, 240. And they settled at 240. Honestly, it was tough to watch. Because they could have made so much more money out of that if they'd have just negotiated a little bit better. If they'd have just negotiated a little bit better, they could have made some more money. But no, they went in lowball at fucking £240 a head. So let's start looking at some pricing, some rough ones for me. So we are looking at 2,400 max. That's how much money they're bringing in. Okay? Now, they're spending £400 on food. They're spending £270 on Scottish dancing. And I think they're spending like 300, 400 on abseiling. I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. So they're already making less of a profit than the girls. Just off the top. Because they've brought in less money and they're now spending more money. So yeah, the boys really, really had a troubled time with this, and it was quite uncomfortable to watch. Also, there was a moment where Verdi and I've just put the other guy because I don't remember what his name was. Trey? Was it Trey? I don't know. They were just promoting their DJ sets to the clients, and the clients were like, okay. Yeah, the boys Yeah, not good, not good. So, show day rolled around, and this is where things got messy, things got hilarious, and things just started to fall apart. I cannot tell you how entertaining this was to watch. I didn't realise how much of a balls up they'd cause. Like, genuinely, it was tough to watch at times. I don't know what one you guys want to start with, but I'm going to start with the girls, because the girls are so lucky that, yeah, I'm just going to say they're so lucky they didn't kill someone with what they served. So they started off in the morning. Onyeka was like, "Oh, I don't want to do the trip anymore. I'll take over food and drink. Or I'll do food and drink. Who wants to swap?" And Sam just stood up and went, "Yep, fine." No one really fancied it, but she was like, "Fuck it, fine, I'll do it. Just get it over and done with, sure." And I got to commend her. Honestly, she did really well. They went out on the trip through the gorge. It was basically just like they were wading through a river. It didn't look exciting, but they all had a good time, except for the fact that I think it was Flo was asking them like, "Oh, does anybody have any questions about this?" And then the girls were like, just tell them some facts. And she told them exactly one fact, and then asked if they had any more questions, and then they just decided to move on. Sam was really good, plunging into the water and then getting everyone else to do it. Honestly, the water river wading thing looked actually really fun, and I think everyone on that trip had a fabulous time with that activity. It's just a shame that the food and drink did not go down as well, and oh my god, it could not have been more of a disaster. About halfway through the prep, so I didn't realise that they had to make the food themselves. I thought they were hiring people to come in and cook. I thought that was why it was costing so much money a head. Because what do you mean it's costing £36.50 a head to make some fucking fish cakes and a crumble? That's ridiculous. I could buy all that stuff for less than 30 quid in Sainsbury's and cook it myself. So why have I paid you £36.50 a head if you're not going to help me cook it? Oh yeah, that was tough to watch. But clearly none of these people have been in a kitchen before, because somebody, and I'm not naming names, and the reason I'm not naming names is because I don't know their names. I know Sam, I know Onyeka, I know Flo. That's all of it. I don't know any of the other girls' names. That's it. So it was not those three. Those three are innocent. But someone in that kitchen mistook breadcrumbs for crumble mix. So somebody was making fish cakes out of crumble mix. Right, guys, I'm not a chef. I like to think I'm really good at cooking, because I am, but I at least know the difference between breadcrumbs and crumble mix. How do you not know the difference? How did you not pick up on the fact that the fish cakes were not cooking properly? Genuinely, I think they all should have been fired for that. I think they all should, because how are you so thick and stupid? Oh god. Anyway, moving swiftly on. They moved. They brought the mains out, but they were basically desserts. Everyone complained. It was like, "This is disgusting. Send this back." And then they brought out the desserts, but the desserts weren't cooked. It was raw crumble mix on basically raw rhubarb filling. Oh my days. Oh my days. Do you want to know why it wasn't cooked? Because somebody put them in the microwave instead of the oven. Guys. Me and you need to have a real conversation, because what has this world come to? What has this world come to that people are mistaking ovens for microwaves? Ovens for microwaves. Are you that inept at cooking that you don't know the difference? Oh, why is it only going up to 2 minutes? Oh, maybe because it's a microwave. When have you ever seen a timer on an oven? Well, I mean, you can have timers on ovens, but when have you ever had to set the timer on an oven? Normally, again, you can have timers on ovens, but you get my point. I've never had to set a timer on an oven. I just keep time on my phone, but the microwave keeps time for me. Oh my god, it was so painful to watch. Fortunately, the caber toss and the rock throwing went down a lot better than I thought it would, and they all seemed to have a really, really good time. But the food was an absolute shocking shambles. Honestly, the boys' team weren't much better. I'll be 100% dead honest. They were out in the wilderness doing something. I think they did abseiling, and Trey tried to spark a fire. It didn't really work. Then they were like late back from the abseiling, and it caused so many problems. They were 45 minutes late. Verdi was like, make sure you have the food ready for 2:15, and the team were like, bet, cool, yes, absolutely, I will have it done for 2:15. There was some problems in the kitchen. Some people were just not very good at cooking, and it was a little bit messy and a little bit shit, and Ollie was just botching the brownies, but they ended up turning out quite nice and they looked edible. So on the whole, the food was good, except for the fact that it was ready for 2:15, and the other group didn't come back until 3 p.m. So by that point, all the food's cold. All the food is cold, and they just have to reheat it, and then when they serve it, they're complaining it's cold, which absolutely fair and valid. Of course it's cold. This was cooked 45 minutes ago. Oh, Jesus Christ. Then there was also the problem of the fact that there was no alcohol. So the guys were like, oh, fuck, we got no alcohol. Let's go buy some. They ended up spending like a real premium, which like I understand, because it's not like they can just run down to Tesco's and grab something. That's I'm trying to turn off my phone alarm. Sorry, my bad. It's not like they can just run down to Tesco's. They have to like buy it from spenny places. Oh, it's Tesco's. It's Tesco's. It's frying my brain. Oh, it's tough to watch. And then they were like, oh, we've got the dancers outside, and the leader of the group was like, we've got to go in 4 minutes. We've got a 3.5-hour drive back. And they were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you have to go in 4 minutes? Oh, it was just an absolute nightmare. They didn't even eat dessert. They didn't even participate in the dancing. They just stood there with like slap backside faces, and then just went, now we got dip, soz. Tough. Really, really tough, honestly. Honestly, tough. So, back in the boardroom, it came time to face Lord Alan Sugar and basically discuss what went wrong. On the girls' side, basically, people were complaining that Onyeka was unrealistic with her food prices. The fact that she wanted everything to be £10 a head was ridiculous, and so they went with the £36, went for the mid-range just so they could provide a good service. Sugar was not impressed with the fact that Onyeka wanted to swap, which was wild. And honestly, I gotta say, Karen, she came out and she was like, yo, it was chaos in the kitchen, and this is probably the worst food that I've seen in 18 series. 18 series. Well, she hasn't been on it for 18 series. In the 13 seasons that she's been on, this is the worst food she'd seen. Who mistakes crumble mix for fish cakes? That's the question on everyone's lips at the end of the day. Then we moved over to the boys, and the boys were basically, Verdi was just like, oh, under promise, over deliver. You definitely under promised, and you definitely under delivered as well. You didn't even allow them to complete their day because you brought them back so late. Yeah, and he started to defend the delay. He was like, how am I meant to speed up abseiling when 4 people haven't gone? And I was like, well, you should have communicated. You have a phone, surely you could have communicated, like, look, we are running late, please hold off on the food because we're running behind, so we're back soonish. I'll text you when we leave, because if they're 45 minutes late, I don't know how far away they were, but surely they could have worked something out. And the other big problem was the alcohol prices. The fact that Phil completely mucked that up. So yeah, it was tough, but it was time for some stats and figures, and I gotta say they are very, very telling. So the total income from the girls was 2,860. They spent £1,676 7 pence, and that meant they had a profit of £1,266 43 pence, which is incredible. They essentially made a 1.2k off of this day. However, there were 42% refunds, so therefore that brings our total down to 122 pound 43. So they made a profit of 122 pound 43. Honestly, they're lucky to have that, because it was only the fact that the company really enjoyed the activities that they didn't have more than that as a refund. As for the boys, they made 2,400, spent £1,756 40, which is crazy. That gave them a profit of £643 60. And then let me just reenact my favourite moment of the episode. And there were 52% refunds. Why are you clapping, Asif? Asif? Yeah, Asif. Why are you clapping, Asif? Because through my mental maths, 52% refund means that out of the 2,400 they spent, they wanted at least 1,250 back. Let's just let that sink in. Let's just let that sink in for a second. They wanted half of their money back. Half. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we made a profit of like 200. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I'm not even in business, and I know that's not how it works. Jesus Christ! And you want to have a business with Lord Alan Sugar? Yeah, dream on, mate. You're going home soon. You're going home. There's no way you're making it to the end. There's no way. I will personally come and kick you off the show." So yeah, they made a loss of £506 40, which meant the girls won. Which, to be honest, well deserved. At least their team managed to complete the day and didn't waste money as much as the boys did. So yeah, it came time to lay the blame. And honestly, I feel like some people got shafted. It was basically the alcohol debacle versus the time delay, and the fact that the negotiations in the first place, they didn't negotiate a high enough price for the day that they were putting on. And Steve was like, that was my fault. I should have stepped in. I should have taken over, but I was basically talked over by Verdi. So what was I meant to do? Oh, yeah, tough. So the way this end bit works is basically Verdi, as team captain, has to choose 2 other people to accompany him to the boardroom. And essentially, he will sit there and defend himself and then say why he picked the other 2, and then Lord Sugar decides who goes home. He chose Steve and Ollie, which was an odd pairing considering he was really gunning for Phil about the whole debacle with the alcohol. I really thought he would have chosen Ollie and Phil, but he chose Steve, and I think even Lord Sugar was like, I don't even know why you're here. You're good to go. Go. So it came down to Verdi and Ollie, and honestly, I would rather have seen Verdi go just because of how poor his performance was in this challenge. Ollie, yes, he did not do much. He made the brownies. The brownies didn't get eaten, so we actually don't know whether they were good or not. If they were good, they could have been the saving grace of the whole day. We actually just don't know. So it's a shame because from their point of view, he's done nothing all day for the 2 days, and he hasn't spoken up. He hasn't sort of tried to lead or anything. So it's just a bit of a problem. So unfortunately, Alan Sugar goes, "You're fired. Bye-bye. Get out." And honestly, I think the days are counting down for Verdi. I don't think he's going to make it very, very far. But only time will tell. We'll have to see. and I'm fully strapped in for this series. I hope you guys are too. It's an interesting one. It's all about business and money and profitability, and I kind of like it. I like the maths element of it. It's quite entertaining and fun. So if you guys like what you're seeing, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We've still got another 17 candidates to get through, and only one of them can get the business. So I'm assuming this is going to be a long slog. So if you guys did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff you guys do so well. I will see you for the next episode next week. Keep on ranting. Bye now.